Test that out, and I was looking for a directional preference, and I thought, okay, I think I'm feeling these things. What else could I do? This is one that you could do. A lunge step. Do that for me. And what's going to happen? If I internally rotate it already, am I going to exaggerate that on this side and push further into that in range? That might be uncomfortable, right? So sometimes I do the lunge test. The numbers on it aren't great. They're not awful. I mean, no worse than some of the others. I could do that, and then I could do it to the other side. And what I'm doing is just putting you in the in range of innominate rotation, and stressing it, loading it. That's kind of Glasslet-like in the sense that I think he would take you there and see if that hurt at the in range. It's also McKenzie-like, right? Because what makes you better, what makes you worse? Well, this aggravates. It could be argued that you are in an anterior position and I'm squishing you, forcing you into it more, and you don't like it. So then I could put your foot up on the stool and say, now keep your back pretty straight and just lean in and tell me what that does. Now, if you say, oh, that feels better, I like that, then that's telling me that you are anteriorly nominated position. You don't like it, and posterior is the direction to go for you. Then I could do the muscle energy technique, but that could be part of your whole program. Make sure you do a little bit of this. If you've been on your feet and start to get to you, so you sag into a more anterior nominate position. So I like that because it's a stressor. And it has a direction associated with it in terms of which way is the nominate going. So sometimes I supplement that in with some of these just to kind of get a clearer image. Does that make sense? So if I do all this palpating and I'm like, yeah, it seems like that, but I bet they won't like this if they are anterior. Or I bet they don't like this if they're posterior because it's going to make them go more posterior. So sometimes I use that as a cross-reference. So the lunge test or the knee kind of step up kind of thing might be useful to help you later. All right, so lunge and step it up. And let's show you, got plenty of stuff to practice, but I'll go ahead and get the Ober test in and then we'll practice and hopefully we'll remember where I left off. Ober test, put your head this end and face out that way. This side. So come back toward me. Ober test is for the IT band. Again, you could use this sometimes in your hip patients a lot. You use it in your knee patients a lot. And you could use it in your SI patients and even in your back patient. IT band is as tight as we can see already, but we're going to test it anyhow. Go ahead and take it up, and you relax. I'm going to brace him and block him here. I'm going to let him roll back. I'm going to take him back to here, so relax, I'm going to bring him back, and set you over. So now I've got him locked in here, and I'm going to pull off. He doesn't drop because he's tight. Relax. Totally relax. Totally relax.
I'm really trying.
So if he was relaxed, it would fall down, but he's stretching on this tissue. I keep his pelvis locked in. Now he could get, if I don't lock him in, he could just let the hip drop, right? He could unhike it here, and that would look like it's dropping. But I keep him locked in. And what I did here is I took him up, over, got the IT band and everything situated over the trochanter, kept him a little bit extended at the hip, and then I eased off and see if it dropped. All right? But again, anybody out there who can see that's tight. Nice and tight there. All right? So he has a tight IT band, so I'm glad you volunteered. You anticipated well.
No problem.
How would you lengthen that then? How would you lengthen his IT band?
Well, that's a whole other debate. It's tough tissue. A couple scanning. People try to massage it. People put them on rollers. That feels really yummy. People do these brutal massages. They get on trigger points that are all in it that he loves, right? So I can really go out about everywhere along here, and then we can do all that stuff. Drawing the line is still very tough to lengthen it. And sometimes you figure what goes into it. Tensor fasciolata here, the glute max here. Those people are tied anteriorly, so sometimes you tap the leg, come back, you hold it there and just let them stretch off the back. And they're probably not going to change this, but they might loosen here a little bit and give you a little more comfort. Okay. And you see various You had the, we call it the hooker stretch, ladies of the night, lamppost stretch. I don't know, you know, do this. So, and you shoot the hip out and that was stretching. Don't record any of this.
YouTube.
But again, you'll see different ways that people try to stretch that. And you can argue how effective it is. Now there is a version where it's a modified version where they leave the leg straight. Just leave it straight and let it drop. To me, that's harder to hold and get into, so I don't use it. I use the traditional one. But some people use that. So be aware that you could really have to hold here and let the whole leg go back and drop and measure from the table wherever you wanted to. Right. Same thing here. I could measure from the edge here to the table if I wanted to quantify it. All right.